It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and just 2 weeks away from one of my favorite events of the year. Bellator returns to Dublin, Ireland. Bellator 285 or Bellator Dublin. You can catch it on Showtime in 2 weeks on Friday, starting at 12:30 Eastern. And super excited for the first time ever to talk to a guy I've had a lot of respect for throughout his career, a guy who's had a great career so far, and I know he's not done yet. The one and only Brett Johns. Sir, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for the lovely intro there. It's been a long old career. I think some guys might have heard of me, some guys might not have heard of me, but I like to think I've been through the middle, and I don't know how long I got left, but I'm still fighting for that way.
Well, I know you fight for a lot more than just a paycheck, and I always respect a guy who puts on for himself, his career, his family, and his country. And there's not many that do it as well as you. So I don't like to hear you don't know how much longer you'll be doing it, though.
It's look, I'll be honest with you. This camp, it's been a tough one, and there's no secrets. I'm not a guy that will sugarcoat it and tell lies. It's been tough. It has been tough. But then again, the last camp that I did for Bellator Dublin back in February, that was a tough fight, and a tough camp. But, these things happen. Like, I've had camps when I've gone through unscathed and I haven't performed as well as what I wanted to one fight night. So, to be honest, in my life, every time there seems to be a problem in camp, it ends up being a good performance. And I've had a few of these problems in camp. So, let's get the fight underway.
So it should be a great performance. If there's been a few problems, it should be a great performance for you. Originally scheduled to face James Gallagher. Obviously, he pulled out. I know it's something it's not brand new to you to have an opponent change. This time it's not happening a day before or 2 days before. We just saw the fiasco with the UFC where things are getting changed. 3 fights getting changed in 24 hours. I can't imagine what that was like, but does it take any wind out of your sails when you are going through struggles in camp and you're focusing on one opponent, and now about 2 weeks out, or not two, or a little longer than 2 weeks out, you get an opponent change?
Yeah. Like, I think the way you described it then was probably bang on. It took the wind out of my sails a little bit, as in, if you just look as far as like sponsorships and stuff, this fight sold itself. You didn't need me to scream and shout about it. And you didn't need him to scream and shout about it. It sold itself. So when that opportunity kind of got taken away, I was a little bit niffed, a little bit bummed out to the fact that, it's happened. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I think I did have a little bit of a moan about it on the day, and I thought, well, it doesn't matter. If James doesn't want to perform in front of the Irish people, that's fine. But I sure as hell will, And like I said, it's going to be a good performance. And like my new opponent, Jordan Winsky, not a name that should be looked over, and got not a bad little record on him as well. And I'm excited. Yeah, obviously, of course, the plan of attack is to go in there now in a week and a half's time, get a dominant performance over Winsky, and then look towards James Gallagher again, because I'm not burying that hatchet yet. I want to get that fight done. I felt like I was prepared to come behind enemy lines and perform in front of the Irish crowd, and I was going to be the bad guy, and I was prepared for that. Well, he's pulled out. Well, now I wanted to be on my terms, and Bellator yet to come to my country in Wales, and why not try and do a show in Wales and get me and James to headline the main event? And I'm adamant. I'm certain that'll sell out. But like I said, we're not looking past Jordan first. Jordan is a guy who is stylistically a tricky fight. This isn't exactly like my Bellator debut. It's not exactly preparing for Mateus Matos, who's a Brazilian striker, for 13 weeks, and then the week before, then they changed it to Danny Sabatello, who's a wrestler. It's not that as bad as that. At the end of the day, he did pull out 6 weeks ago. So when James pulled out, at the end of the day, that was enough time. It was enough time for, he hasn't left me hanging until the week before and changed. At the end of the day, it's one of the things, And like you said, I've had 4 scheduled fights in this promotion, and there's been pullouts in all but one. But look, it is what it is. What that will tell the fans is that when I sign the dotted line, I'm coming. You know, I'm there. I'm here to stay, and I'm here to show what I'm about. You know, there's no pullouts. And look, every single camp I've done with Bellator, there's been some sort of issue there. But this time, man, I'm just ready for that thought performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And true veteran, right? Because you must have done interviews before, because I was going to ask you if James Gallagher was going to be a guy you'd want to face in the future. You already said it without me asking, but I'm just a little curious as to why. I know he's ruffled feathers in his career early on. You had all the Conor comparisons and all of that. He's kind of broken away from that. He moved over to the States. I know he fought, you know, in Dublin last time. And things did not go his way, but the crowd was still behind him. You mentioned you would go in and be the bad guy there, but now you want that fight in the future on your terms. But why is he still a guy? I mean, realistically, and I'm not sure how much this matters to you. For some, it does. For some, it means nothing. He is in the rankings, right? So this fight could have propelled you right there. You could have just taken his spot. You could have stole the show in his home country. But now it's going to be on your terms in the future. Why is he a guy that you still want?
Look, it's nothing personal towards the guy. I'm actually quite envious of what he's achieved in this promotion. You know, he's a very well recognized name, and it's nothing personal towards me to him. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he's had a fantastic career. Yes, I will say that I felt like his matchups have been carefully chosen. But for myself, it's strictly the number next to his name. You know, at the end of the day, I've always wanted to be a top 10 fighter. Managed to get into the top 15 with the UFC, but now it's like, you know, I want to get into the top 10 of Bellator, and I really want to make an impact in this division. And getting a win over James would have been the first step. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't going to be an easy fight. I think a lot of people were maybe, you know, vouching for me to win that fight, but I saw James as a really tough fight. But I've never, if you know me, I've never been shy about taking these tough fights. This is who I am, you know. I prefer to be in my wheelchair when I'm 60, 70 and told people that I had some wins, I had some losses, but I fought every single person that was put in front of me. And look, at the end of the day, I think as well, it's like the sort of the unofficial, you know, European top bantamweight as well. You know, he's higher up in the rankings, and I just feel like I'm better than him, and I want to go out there and prove that by fighting him and by showcasing what I'm good at. And you know, arguably he wants to do the same and show that, you know, how good he is. You know, and going off his last performance fighting Patchy Mix, that's a tough fight, man. You know, for anybody. You know, Patchy's in that last four in the tournament, and it was a tough fight to take. Patchy coming slightly over the scales as well, but you know, he still went out there and fought. And look, I respect him. I do respect him. He's a young guy in the game, and I just feel like, you know, age isn't really a big thing until you get to the latter part of your career. Realistically, I'm not even hitting my peak properly yet, you know, and I think James is a few years younger than me. But yeah, it's definitely a fight I want to see happen soon. If I'm completely honest, and if I really want to put my foot down here, there is no other fight I want at the moment. You know, it's the Gallagher fight. But like I said, we cannot look past Winsky. I think a lot of people will get carried away at this point. You know, at the end of the day, he's a tough, crafty veteran. You know, and he's been in the middle. I've seen some of his older fights. I haven't seen much on his newer fights, but I've seen his older fights. Guy's a tough guy. He's not going to be easy to put away. And yeah, that's, you know, they're the fights we want there. At the end of the day, I've only got to sign the dotted line. I don't ask questions. You know, I'm like an unofficial hitman. Don't ask any questions. Just sign the dotted line and get on with it. And yeah, come September 23rd, I'm going to be bringing it.
Yeah, you absolutely are. I actually love that nickname. I know every fighter's got their own nicknames already, but the unofficial hitman, I'm just going to call you that. Every article I write about you, if I ever can get you back on this show, that's what I'm going to call you, the unofficial hitman. And really going into this fight and take nothing away from Jordan Winsky, as you mentioned multiple times, right? But this is an opportunity for you really to take advantage of the platform and opportunity that you have, because it's not Ireland, right? Or it's in Ireland, but it's not Wales. So they're not behind. You guys are coming into neutral ground, basically. And he's stepping up on short notice. if you go in there and do what you expect to do, you send a message really to James Gallagher and really the rest of everyone watching you. And, you know, you come in and you start this interview saying, I don't know how much longer, but you know who you want next. You're saying you're not even at your peak yet. Brett Johns, all due respect, my man, I'm going to need you around for a lot longer. I am. I mean, listen, I need you in the top 10. I need this fight against James Gallagher, right? There's so many things I want to see you do. And it's no secret. I know this is the first time you and I are talking, but there's no secret. I'm not in with all the UFC PR. So any fighter that's at the top of their game, as you were with that promotion, I don't get the opportunities to talk to guys like you. So when I see you move over to a spot that's better for yourself, better for your career, and gives me an opportunity to really tell your story the way you want it told, I couldn't be more excited. And that's why you're saying, I don't know how much longer. No, I think you got plenty longer.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You know, I think realistically what I'm trying to say is that I've done everything I've needed to do in this game. And that's not me saying like, oh, that's it, that this is going to be over. I just feel like in my lifetime, the one thing I wanted to do was to win a belt. I did that within 5 amateur fights, and I was like, right, what do we do now? And then we go pro, and then the snowball effect started to happen. If I said I have one more goal, it would probably be to go for that Bellator title. You know, I've won world titles with Titan FC and with Cage Warriors. I think to win a title with Bellator would be a dream come true. But like I said, let's not plan too far ahead. We can only take it each fight at a time. And you know, obviously next weekend is Jordan Winsky. Hopefully after that is Gallagher, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Well, what is the challenges for a guy like a Jordan Winsky, right? Because he is a veteran. His name doesn't jump off the paper like a Gallagher's does. But you, having been in this career, been in the sport for so long, you face these, just your Bellator tenure, you face these changes. And to have a guy who kind of comes in, really, he's got nothing to lose. And really, you just have every opportunity to take advantage of what's in front of you. What are the challenges a guy like Winsky presents for you come fight night?
Yeah, I've watched his style as a fighter and stylistically. I feel like I am better in every area. I really do. But having said that, I feel like Jordan's very, very good at making good fighters look bad. I think he's just got that awkward style. And like I said, props to him. At the end of the day, that's part of his whole sort of fighting style. He comes from a really good team. He's got some really good training partners. This is not an easy fight. I think people might look on paper and think, oh, it's not James Gallagher. Yeah, but it's also not a walk in the park. I think people need to realize that. And look, any record in this game, you can't really go off records, but 12-3 at a professional record is not a bad record. So that just speaks for itself. We just got to go in there. And I know if I go in there as me, as Brett, I think we go in there and we get the job done. But he hasn't been taken lightly, not by me, not by my coaches, not by my teammates. You know, we've had plenty of time. The same way I feel like he's had plenty of time. 6 weeks notice, 5 weeks notice. I think it's plenty of time, really. You know, but like we're looking forward to it. We really are. It's another test, and it's another one for the books with Bellator when they go again. I've shown up again. That I've turned up again. I've honored my side of the contract again. You know, these guys. I love the promotion. I really do love being in this promotion. As a young fighter growing up in this world, I used to watch a lot of UFC. I used to watch a lot of Bellator. You know, I love them Chandler and Eddie Alvarez fights. You know, and I watched so much of this game years ago that this was a promotion that I did see myself in. At what point I didn't know, but now looking at it, this is my forever home. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, I'm not thinking about retirement, but I'm happy to finish my career with this promotion, and I want to show this promotion that I'm loyal, and that I want to perform underneath this banner for a very long time. Get a win against Jordan, and you know we'll see what Mike Hogan got to say, and maybe we can get a long-term contract with Bellator signed.
I would absolutely love that. I know fans of Brett Johns would love that. And I'm pretty sure Bellator would love to keep you around and be your forever home. And I love that you said that. I won't keep you for too much longer. I do appreciate your time, just the excitement of finally getting a chance to talk to you. But with all that said, though, you mentioned earlier, you know, where you're from and being a part of Wales and all that. And we've seen it so much over the last 2 years where fighters, I mean, I don't want to talk about other promotions while I'm talking to a Bellator marquee fighter, but we just saw poetic justice in a way. I steal that from Ariel Helwani, you know, talking about how Nate Diaz went out on his own turn. For you, what does it mean to be representing Wales, to always sign that dotted line, and to continue on with the career that you have? This will be my last question for you, but what does it mean to represent Wales in the way that you do and the way that you've done throughout your career?
Wales has given a lot to me, as in it's given me this language, the Welsh language, which has opened so many doors for me back home here. You know, I'm very passionate about my Welsh language, and I wear it with pride. I wear it with pride here, and not many people speak the language. That's the amazing thing, you know. And I'm one of the lucky few people in this country that does. And Welsh people have got me to this stage in my career. Like, don't get me wrong, I've had help from other places, Scotland, Ireland, you know, England, but Wales is predominantly where I've had all my help. I'm a homegrown fighter. You know, there wasn't going away and training in training camps. I'm very lucky that I get to train with, in my opinion, one of the best fighters on the planet at my division, which is Jack Tank Shaw. And get to train with him on a daily basis is a blessing. And to have the guidance of his dad, Richard Shaw, Carl Parker, Heem, and Darren Wilson behind me as well. I'm put it this way: I count my lucky stars every morning when I get up, because I'm in a good place with a good team. And not to sound cliche, but it's a family environment. And yeah, that's the greatest thing about going to training. This is the hardest sport in the world. And some mornings you wake up and you don't want to go training, but seeing them guys there and having a chat with them guys there really puts things into perspective for me, and makes me enjoy the sport that much more.
Well, Brett Johns, I had expectations for this interview and you exceeded them. Super thankful to have finally talked to you for the first time. Hope to talk to you again after this fight. And I appreciate you coming on, making the time and laying out what's next. Like I said, Bellator should be your forever home. I think it's a perfect match. I don't think there's a better representation of Wales than you. I know you obviously Jack Shore as well, but I have the utmost respect for everything you've done in your career. And it goes down again September 23rd, 2 weeks from now at Bellator Dublin on Showtime. Brett Johns, thank you so much.
Mike, thanks for your time, mate. Have a good night. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.